Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to BlackDoctor.org's Women's Health Summit. I'm Angelique David, the founder and owner of Just for Girlfriends, and I am joined here today with my co-host, Robin McFarland. We have two amazing guests who are J4G members, Christina Steed and Kimberly Allen Davis. We will soon have our normal co-host coming back on too, Michelle Skinner. So hopefully she'll be joining us in this hour. So before we get started with introductions, Robin, let me turn it over to you and you kind of tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I am Robin McFarland, a board member of Just for Girlfriends, claim to fame, first board member ever, um, and been a part of the organization for 7 years, even before it was what we see today. So I'm glad to be here to talk about self-care and not being selfish in that, especially as it heats up outside. I'm thinking more about it for some reason.
Yes, yes. Christina, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been a member of J4G?
Hi, Angelique. Thank you for having me. I have been a member for 2 years now and have enjoyed every minute of it. I appreciate being in cruise control when it comes to self care and other people helping to direct that. I am a communications executive and I'm also an adjunct professor locally here at the university. So I do a lot, juggle a lot. So self care is definitely a big part of my life.
Absolutely. And welcome, Cherie from Philly. Philly in the house. Welcome, welcome. Kim, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been a member of J4G?
Kimberly Allen Davis. I think I've been a member a little more than a year. I think I paid my second membership in January. So
Yeah,
look,
you actually it's been about 2 years. So just good times when we're having fun.
I
That's right.
know, look, 2 years. And one of the things that I really loved about it is it was about self-care and it was about taking care of yourself. So when Michelle called and said, "Hey, look, we've got this great group," I was like, "Oh, right on time, perfect timing." I'm a project manager, a senior project manager with a technology company. I own my own business. I'm a mother. I'm a board member. I do a lot of things and I wear a lot of hats. So self care is just critical in life for all of us to take time out for ourselves.
Absolutely. So I welcome everyone. I'm Angelique David. As you may know, Robin, Michelle, and I are the co-host of Real Talk with Just for Girlfriends, a monthly show on BlackDoctor.org's. And we are honored and privileged to have all of you here and to really be part of this Women's Summit, again, talking about self-care. So I am the founder and CEO of Just for Girlfriends. Just for Girlfriends was formed in 2017. So we've been around for a little bit now, and it's all about self-care. So when we talk about Just for Girlfriends, our mission is to help women embrace self-care by providing unique and engaging events that they might not otherwise do themselves. We always tell people, take off all your hats and just come in and have fun. Self-care. Oh, look, we've got our beautiful, amazing Michelle Skinner just joined us. Hello, Michelle.
Hi, how is everyone?
Very good. So I was just going to talk about kind of how J4G started, because it really is all about self-care. So in 2017, and this is really the story. And I love this platform because we can really just talk about stuff that's real. So in 2017, I personally was having all kind of medical issues that I thought were real issues. I was having tinnitus ringing in my ear. I was having this weird shaky thing and a whole bunch of other things. And all of my girlfriends who know me, they know I'm a little bit of hypochondriac. So I thought I was dying. Like literally, doctor, help me, I'm dying. So I went to the doctor.
Exactly, that's the case, right?
It's always the case. So I went to the doctor and I'd had them do an MRI. I literally was like, I don't care how much it costs. I don't care what insurance is paying. I need an MRI. And luckily, my doctor, we're not going to say who it is because she probably wasn't supposed to do that. She gave me, I had an MRI. Nothing was wrong. I had all kind of stuff done. Went to a different doctor and I said, something is wrong. Like I need help. And he did all of these tests and he said, well, positive news is you're not depressed. And I'm like, I didn't say I was depressed. I said I was dying. What part of that? I don't understand. And he said, the bad news is you have extreme stress and anxiety. And you got to get this under control because it is turning into medical symptoms. And he said, you know, you've got to do something that's going to take that stress down to just enjoy just really self-care. So I started talking to other women about all of my symptoms because I'm a pretty open book. And I found out that a lot of people were going through this. And they were like, oh yeah, I have that shaky thing. Oh yeah, I've got ringing in my ears. Oh yeah, I've got this. And I was like, everybody living like this? And so I said, you know what? I found out that women specifically, I think a little more than men, often find ourselves putting the weight of everything on our shoulders, making sure that we're taking care of everybody and everything before we take care of ourselves. And so I said, you know what? We need a forum, we need an outlet. But what we don't need is for us to put it back on us to go do something, care for ourselves. Because how many times do you want to give it your girlfriend and then everybody's trying to figure out what restaurant and then you text them back and forth. So Just for Girlfriends takes the work out of all of that. Just for Girlfriends plans everything. We put together these fabulous, amazing experiences. All you do is sign up and come. And you know that you're going to enjoy a good time. You're going to take off all of your hats and you're just going to enjoy a fun afternoon, a commercial break from life, and self-care. And I'm pleased to report that I no longer have any of those symptoms. Self-care has absolutely helped me. I am healthy and I don't think I'm dying anymore, well, except for when COVID was around. But
Still around. Right?
now I'm
Still around.
So that's kind of how J4G was formed.
And I have to say, thank you, Angelique, for taking the lead on this. I joined Just for Girlfriends probably almost 4 years ago now. And it's been something that I really didn't know I needed until after I experienced it. When Angelique was first talking about Just for Girlfriends and the concept, I thought it was wonderful. But of course, I was burning the candle at both ends. I did not see how I was going to take the time to take advantage of what she was offering. I went to one event and it was like, wow, I felt so rejuvenated after. Actually was more efficient running around getting all these things done that I felt responsible for. And it's been a lifeline. It's, and I still feel that way now. I'll go to an event next month and I feel the same way I did 4 months after that. So self-care is one of those things that seems like a luxury, but it really is not. It's necessary.
Absolutely.
So I apologize for being late. I'm not sure where we are in our discussion. Robin, did you explain why you joined?
So we did. So we've done introductions.
Okay.
We've done introductions here, but I'll expound on that. I'm one of those. I have older kids. I know I don't look like it, but I was trying to figure out what self-care was for me because I had not had it as a part of just my life. You start running around, as Michelle said, burning the candle at both ends. And you think you're doing a little bit of self-care when you get 20 minutes at night to take a break after you've run the kids around, but that is not it. And so really I tell people I was missing for literally a decade from being a wife, a mother, trying to climb a ladder in corporate America, all of that. And then finally, one of our other friends that you see on here often, Sherelle Fuller, she kept asking me and she kept telling me about these girls, tell me about these ladies, and you got to come out. And finally, and Michelle, I don't know if it was the same event. I went to a holiday event where we did a gift exchange. And let me just say, ladies, so you can be yourself when you are with us. There's not a lot of camera taking. There's not judgment. And I don't want to say I acted a fool, but I had a good time.
You acted a fool.
I cut up all night, hours. And so I've been inseparable with J4G ever since then. But it was one of those things, like Michelle said, I knew I was tired. I would have vacations. I would do some things for myself, maybe a spa day here and there. But I didn't know that it was essential to me, as well as I was transitioning to being an empty nester as well. So I really hadn't even defined what self-care was for me. Didn't really know, I was like, my joy is my children, and I'm going to that, and that I was lying to myself because it wasn't. I was tired. And so now at this point, yeah, it has become a part of my life. Being on the board, I think I won an award for coming to every event one year. That's how dedicated I am. But it's one of those things that I just didn't even know. Nobody had talked. I didn't grow up with anybody telling me about self care, not in this capacity. I think things have changed. We do put things on our shoulders. We are working very hard, working multiple jobs, some of us, and that sort of thing, trying to network and all the great things that Black Girl Magic is, can be very tiring. And so just glad to be here. And I will say there's some things that I did not do prior to. I won't get into that. That's for an event. There's some things prior to
Yeah.
joining Just for Girlfriends that I didn't do. But that night I did some things, had some discussions, met some people. Man, it was on and popping after that. Like I'm here having fun, right? So I think I just didn't even know I needed it until I had it, and now I'm trying to get more of it, quite honestly.
Yeah. And for just so everyone knows, because I see we've got some people checking in from New York, we've got some people checking in from Atlanta, Myrtle Beach. We host live events in the Chicagoland area and the DMV area, and we host virtual events every month. So you can get on, and we still have as much fun virtually as we do live. And actually, Pam in Atlanta, we are soon to come to Atlanta, and we'll probably be hosting live events. So join now while you're under the virtual price instead of the live price.
So I'm going to, as a person who's virtual, I'm going to say that's not true. The virtual group, they are fun, but they are much more fun live because I've done the live ones. So, we've been talking about that here. And that's just that whole piece of relieving the stress on you so that you can do more. I think one of the things you talked about is that you don't even understand that you're stressed out. That's part of the problem. So awareness is really a big thing. And 2017 was a big one for me because February 6, 2017, I had a heart attack. And it was extremely scary because I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and had this heaviness in my chest and didn't realize that I was really having a heart attack. I went back to sleep. And still had the same heaviness in my chest. And I called everybody and talked to everybody, even the nurse on my job. I called her and everybody said, call 911. And I still I drove myself. So still bad, because I'm like, I can't be having a heart attack.
You were in denial, right?
I was in denial big time. And, and I was blessed because it was in my small arteries and not my large arteries. And I have fully recovered. I'm going every year to my cardiologist instead of every 6 months. So things are better and I'm more aware. But I think the one thing that we don't do as women, we have so much on us. We don't even realize how much we have on us till something does break down. And that's the best part about this, is that this gives people an opportunity to join in and kind of do some self-care without even thinking about it. And I think that's what we have to do, is more stuff for ourselves that we don't think about.
Yeah. So Kim, you brought up exactly where I was going to go. Is I was going to ask both you and Christina, have you experienced where you're burning it at both ends of the candles, where you actually have something happen or you don't realize it, but then you experience something? Like I told you, I had that, but you think you answered that. You had a pretty major medical condition. Christina, have you had that anything happen or been able to see the effects of you not doing self-care, not engaging in self-care?
So yes, I will say when I was growing up, I did have in my mother a model for self-care, but it was more so vanity care, right? So we would do masks on Sundays, we would paint our nails, get our hair done. So that was part of like maintenance. But then when I was in my mid-20s, I was working at an agency in PR, marketing, advertising. Those who know, fast-paced, working late nights, the client is never satisfied. So I was working at a pace where I was the highest billed person in the agency, and there were hundreds of people in the agency, but I was just on every account, and I was anxious all the time. I didn't want to really hang out with my friends. I'm introverted anyway, so I became even more insulated. And I started losing a lot of weight, and that was not a good thing. I wasn't eating properly. I wasn't, taking care of myself from a nutrition standpoint. And I went to go see my doctor, and he said, I can either put you on Lexapro, which is, they prescribe that for people who have anxiety and depression and things like that. Or you can start reading this Wayne Dyer. Which one you want to do? And what he was telling me is that this was a self-induced state that I was in terms of being anxious and how my mind was processing my environment. And I needed to take better care of myself. So I chose Wayne Dyer and tools that come along with like self-preservation, self-awareness, reading, just being more paying attention to my life more. And I got out of that role, went into a different role, and things changed from there. But that was very pivotal for me in terms of how I needed to kind of course correct the way I was living my life.
It's Christina. It sounds like we had the same doctor, because that's actually what the doctor told me was I can put you on drugs or you could figure this out. And I was like, whoa, let me figure this out.
Right.
And
like,
yeah. Go ahead, Christina.
I was going to say, thank heaven for him giving me the chance to make that decision, because the tools that I've learned through that process continue to this day. And their medication has a place, right, for people who do need it. It was a self-induced state of mind that I was in. That filled with self-limiting beliefs, and I just wasn't taking care of myself. So thank you.
Right. And I think that brings to mind that, we're not saying it's hopeless. You're not saying that, it's catastrophic. But I think what we have to do is we have to think about self-care differently. It's not the annual vacation or a cruise. It's the little things. And I saw some people in the audience were saying, they exercise or they take a walk. A 30-minute walk does your body good and your attitude and your mental status. So when we're talking about self-care, it's not, we do some big things, and those we appreciate them, but there's also the little things that you can do every day. And we're going to get into more of that later. But when you were speaking, Christina, that brought that to mind. And it was, sort of a shift of the mind for me as well. I was initially thinking self-care, I need to have, 50 hours, that I can devote to self-care, when, 30 minutes here or there make a world of difference, or even an hour or so.
Speaking of your 30 minutes or 30 seconds, we are in the middle of a self-care challenge just for girlfriends. And so Michelle posts something for us to do every day. I can tell you, when it was put on a song and just 30 seconds, it's what songs are 3 minutes, 4 minutes. But those 4 minutes, oh my God, that was amazing for me, because I put on a good song and danced and laughed. So it could be
absolutely. Actually, follow us on social media. It's not too late. We're in our last week now, but you can scroll our timeline and see some of the things that we have been doing, and schedule them. I love having something that I'm going to devote to do every day. So why don't you guys go around and tell? Angelique's favorite was dancing. I think we're all in doing the challenge. What are some of your favorite activities that you've done?
One of the things I did, and I did this, I was a day late, so I'm a little bit behind. One of the things I had to first think about, because I'm a little competitive, is that, man, I wasn't getting to things every day. And it was like, I'm not supposed to be competing in this way, right? That's not what sport. It's supposed to be fun. But what I did last night was I had, I soaked in the tub and watched a show. I was in the tub for an hour. It was fabulous. I could barely get out and get in the bed. It was great. So I think that has become my new, during COVID, that became a thing that I was doing anyway. I'd gotten away from it since we're out a little bit more, but man, I needed that. That was great.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, great.
Cerise, we love you too. She said she's been loving the self-care challenge. Her favorite was spa day, and we love you, Cerise.
Yeah, thank you. Yes,
gratitude. Look at you.
Oh, yeah.
I have my gratitude by book with me and by me, and I don't do it every day, but just moments when I call them checkout moments. And I check out every day, whether it's 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. I find something, even if it's laying in the bed a half hour extra. So that's one of the moments that I love, because I spend time to do that. The gratitude. Yes.
I love that one too. Right. And I think even when we were talking about it, we were saying, it's not something that you have to do every day, weekly,
Mm-hmm.
whenever. Just,
Mm-hmm.
and then go back and reading those.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, it just makes your heart so full. I love it.
Mhm.
Christina, what have you done from the challenge that you really enjoyed?
Well, number one, I love the challenge because it's like being back in school and having an assignment every day, which I'm great. I'm great at. So it's been good for me. I loved the write a letter to your future self. I did that one, took the time, woke up early in the morning with my tea and let the sun rise and wrote that letter. And so I have it in an envelope to be opened a year from now. And then I also loved, it was a midweek watch a movie. And
Oh,
it just
that's a great one.
it just put me out of my regular routine to sit and watch a movie like on a Tuesday. It
Right.
felt delicious. I will just say
Yeah.
that. So.
It did. It did. It felt like we were being naughty, but I was like, oh my God. And I picked a comedy and I just laughed. I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy that one. But I
You
can tell you that writing a letter to your future self, it had me broke all the way. I was in tears wishing that I had what I was sharing, like, oh my God, the wisdom. I just didn't realize how much I had really learned going through the trials and tribulations. And man, it did. I have mine set to open the year my daughter graduates high school. So I'm gonna let her read it.
Oh,
That's
7
Yeah.
years
amazing.
later.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
The
I'm
other
part of that
one,
challenge.
the
I
other
must have
one
been in
was,
New Orleans.
go ahead.
What'd you say, Kim?
I said I missed that one. I must have been in New Orleans. That means I need to go back through the chat
Yeah.
Yeah.
and look at
Yeah.
those days that I missed.
It
So
was
yeah,
it was soul searching. I was like,
yeah,
woo.
yeah. I will do that
Yeah.
one.
The other thing I love about not just the challenge, but J for G is really all of you ladies. Like we're experiencing this together, even when and so J for G has just been this mighty sisterhood for me personally. And that's just, I can't say, I know that I could call anybody on the screen right now for anything and you would stop and you would listen. So this mighty sisterhood and even going through these things together, like we just went through, oh yeah, I remember when I watched the movie or so just having that shared experience really gives me so much joy.
Yeah.
I agree. And it's funny because, no, not really funny, but so precious. Because sometimes you can feel like you're all alone in your struggles. Like, oh my God, why do I keep running up against this wall? And, I find my sisters in J for G, someone has experienced it.
Sure.
And it's so helpful to see, what resources they've used. And there is just no judgment. People are eager to help. Like we're all in this together. And it's so comforting. I absolutely love that aspect too, Angelique. I really, really do.
Great.
Can I say, and one thing about this too, and then, although I haven't been able to experience as many things because I'm not local, but you just show up. When you are in other organizations and other groups, there's expectations of what you're going to do, what you're going to provide, but here, you show up and you enjoy and you have fun. And that part is really priceless. Because I'm not that you don't want to work, if you called and you asked me and you wanted me to do something, I definitely would. But 90% of the time people just get to come
Yep.
and enjoy.
I love that too.
And that was by design because when you add more obligations, all you do is putting something else on somebody's shoulders.
Yeah.
So that was by design.
Yeah.
Right. Because I want to talk about the different activities. We talked a little bit about how self-care looks differently and can look differently. One of the things that we pride ourselves on at Just for Girlfriends is coming up with activities that you would not do yourself. Probably wouldn't know how to do it, but you just wouldn't go through the effort of planning yourself. So let's talk about some of the things we've done through Just for Girlfriends, which is something that you would not have ordinarily done. And I'll go first. Mine, and I love working. I love the athletic type things that we did. So we actually worked out with the heavyweight champ. Oh my God, that was so fun. Now, if someone said you should do that, I'd be like, how, why, who, I just wouldn't know where to begin. But that got put on the calendar. And like Kim said, all you did was show up. And we laughed and we did the moves. And it was a good workout, but it was also a lot of fun. A lot of fun too. But I thought that was like so creative. I just loved it. What are some of the things you guys did that you would have thought I would never do that if I had to do it on my own?
So when we did a tour of different architecturally important locations in Chicago.
Mhm.
That was so amazing because I discovered places. I live on the south side of Chicago and discovered places that I was not familiar with. We went to a farm in Inglewood. Like
Mhm.
I found out what a meadery is. Like
Yeah,
that there's a winery that produces mead in
yeah.
the Beverly area
Yes.
of Chicago. I was
Wow.
there this Sunday to purchase my bottle. So,
Very
just
good. Yes.
learning about new things. I would have never learned about that had I not been in that group. And we had a ball. We had our
We
own little
Party bus.
sprinter party bus. Yes, it was
That
so
was
fun.
amazing.
Yes.
Right.
we had so much fun.
Yeah,
We did have
that
a lot
was
of fun.
amazing. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
fun.
I would say, and as much as I like to eat, right, you can't find every place around in Chicago, but we had the gastronomic experience. I can't think of the name of it. Angelique,
No ideas.
El
No
Ideas,
idea. Yeah.
and it was great. I think we had 6 courses, 5 or 6 courses. Um, I think we had the entire place with the exception of two to four more people that were in there. And we talked and we talked and we laughed and we ate and we talked again. And it was great. It was great. Something that I hadn't heard about. There's so many things around here. I hadn't heard of that place yet. And I think we placed each other, we sat at tables with people I hadn't met before. So I remember, man, we were chatting and talking. And I wonder, Christina might have been at my table. Christina, were you at my table? Or it was either Crystal, one or the other. Was it somebody that I didn't know about? And we started talking and just chatting it up, talking about good stuff, bad stuff, indifferent. And before you know it, I think we were in there at least 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
There, that was really great on a Friday night or Saturday night. I think we did that. It was a great night.
And it was so different. They had the open kitchen, so you can actually watch them preparing these masterpieces, putting things together that I would have never even thought went together.
The McDonald's
so
French
delicious.
fries and ice cream made in a gastronomic way was, I think,
Yeah.
probably my
Beautiful
my
presentation.
favorite. Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah.
I'm going to come back with another food experience, and that was when we went on the wine. We went to the winery. We
in
went to
Napa.
Napa Valley,
Yeah.
but the experience that we had at the culinary school, where we cooked the
Yes.
entire meal, and everybody took their little station, and the experience of following the directions, and then in the end, for our instructor, our chef, to be somebody who I actually saw on the episode of
famous
Bobby
chef.
Clay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Food Network.
It
She was on Food Network.
Yeah, that was like so amazing to me. And the food, well, it was all pretty good. We had some little issues with our halibut, but
We cooked it, so it's
We
already experienced.
we cooked it like it went, so that's sometimes you go to a restaurant, you might not really like how it comes out, but everything was really good. And the wine was good, and the company was even more fabulous. And I ended up being on on another team with people I didn't know. And I brought somebody with me who had not been with you all for the first time, and she joined. She had such a great time. And she and I, and Michelle, is my line sister. And I've spent very little time with her. I wasn't right up under her. I thought, we'll be right up under each other. But I felt comfortable with everybody. So that experience was really amazing.
That was so fun. And I want to say, Kim, everybody did not cook. Let me just say that first. So you don't have to feel obligated to be there cooking. You don't have to feel obligated. We showed up. That was the nice thing about it, right? Because I was not dressed to cook. But it was one of those things you can show up. And nobody was like, Robin, why are you cooking? I entertained and I talked to everybody and encouraged them.
I was that person on my team, Robin. I didn't want to tell on myself, but I was that person.
Yes, right. Like
I gave instructions. I said, yes, pour that, do that.
Poor Michelle was over there cooking some 8-hour paella.
We were equally important, Kim. Yeah. We were supporting and we were encouraging and supervising others. Yeah, it was great.
What was the dish that I made? I thought my arm was gonna fall off.
Paella.
And it was actually, it was very, very
delicious.
So much work.
Yeah.
So
stirred and I stirred. I'm like, okay.
It was
And
good.
I had a drink in one hand. I have to say that made it all.
I love the halibut tastes great to me too, Kim. So I don't even know. I
That's
mean,
because you walked around in the 4-inch
thought it
heels.
was
and you
good.
looked
I was cute. I mean, we hadn't been out. It was at post
Very
COVID.
cute.
Right.
My knee
I
was
Yeah.
messed
know
up
it
for
was our
about
first
3 months
trip.
after that, but
Yeah.
it was good. It was good.
So
Yeah.
my favorite one, and a lot of what gives me joy, frankly, is seeing other people happy and surprising other people. That's just my personality. So my favorite one was when we surprised everybody with Slick Rick. So
Oh,
Oh,
when we had the Halloween party and
yeah.
it was an old school hip hop Halloween party and nobody knew. I didn't tell any, only person that knew was Michelle. Robin didn't even know because I was too excited. I had to tell somebody. So the only person that knew was Michelle and it was a hip hop. So everybody was dressed up like hip hop artists. And we had Wade from the New York City Breakers come in and dance. And people were like, how'd you know him? And then we had Special K, which was from the Treacherous Three, and he came in and did something, but no one knew that Slick Rick was about to come through the door. And then all of a sudden we were like, and Slick Rick's here, and people are looking like, is that in costume? And when they realized it was really him performing, they went banana. Everybody went bananas.
yeah.
It was
They were
so
like, oh
fun.
my God. And we're singing old school. And that was just such a fun
Yeah.
party night.
Yeah.
And just to see everyone expressions, and it was a lot of fun.
It was
Right.
a-
Yeah, that was
It
a
was a lot
big
of work
surprise.
hiring a
Yeah,
hip
a lot
hop
of work.
artist.
Well,
It was
well, I
huge.
will say, and that was the one event. I mean, we have a couple events a year. I mean, at least one. Let me say that. I'm not going to say a couple. Where we invite, if you have a partner or if you want to invite, I think it was open to
Yeah.
non-members as well. So
Right.
I remember bringing my husband. He had a great time. I think we were James Bond and somebody else. He didn't know who Slick Rick was, but he was really excited. He just joined right in on it. But we
You
do
must be a
invite
baby.
others, right? Yeah. We do invite others to come in and join on the fun with us. That was
Mhm.
one of the things. I was doing something every month. Once I started going, you do something every month. Then we were doing something virtually. Then you might make friends with folks and then you do stuff with them. And so my husband was like, are y'all gonna have some for us? Anybody, do y'all want to invite us? Because some of the men know each other and that sort of thing. And we're like, yeah, I guess so. I mean, so I guess he wasn't the only one requesting that. And so we have started inviting, if you have a partner or others outside of the J4G to events as well. So that was a fun one. That was a lot. That was a lot of fun.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I want to switch gears a little bit and give our viewers some ideas of things they can do on their own. Now, they definitely can join us for these fabulous events, but just midweek or if you're on your own, what is your favorite way to unwind, even if it's 15, 30 minutes?
Ooh, 15, 30 minutes.
Mine is take a walk. I take a walk, just breathe the fresh air, listen to the sounds. I don't listen to music while I walk because to me that's distracting. So I just take a walk. And then if I get halfway into the walk, then I frankly will call one of you.
Yeah.
And then I find that really, I just find
That's true.
people, that's what makes me smile. So that's my midweek.
You know, catching up with people, that's our activity for today. So that is definitely a self-care activity. Catch up with friends or family members. So that's right on time.
Yeah.
My
I
zone
am.
is Candy Crush. I'm sorry. I
Playing
just
the
pull
game?
out my phone and I'll play a game because I call it mindless activities
Yeah.
where I don't have to think about anything and I'll just stop and play a game. Even by, I'm like one of those people that used to in the past because I was impatient, pay for stuff like I'm going to get a 99 cents so I can get off this level. Now my patience is getting through the level without purchasing anything. So I play it all free. But
Challenge
really,
yourself.
honestly, yeah, it really relieves some stressors when I'm going through something to just take that mindless break is what I call it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say because I am more introverted than I am extroverted. So coming into the office, commuting to work, and I find that I've been doing this more often just because I'm around more people more often. I really need silence. So I will sit in a room in the dark with nothing for at least 15 minutes, but sometimes I'm in there for about an hour, and it really just helps me recharge. No music. I kind of go through my head through my day, but really just kind of zone out.
So
I
it's
don't
like a
even know.
meditation. Yeah.
It could be, right? But I think I am just in my nature, then I'm just zapped out. So if I don't recharge, then I'm just super cranky after that. And so, fortunate enough I can do that. I do have a fluffy dog at home, so he can come in and we can rub and cuddle for a little while. But I find, and I was like, am I getting older? What is happening to me? But I find that I need at least 20 minutes of that. In order to be okay, in order to reply to your text and have a good time to be able to do that or to start. But I'm just I think Christina said that, being more in tune with myself, and just I really enjoyed it at home for 2 years, where it was really quiet and isolated, and you could engage when you wanted to. And now we're back out, and I'm finding that is
Sort of an overload.
depleting my battery a little bit quicker than it used to. And so 20 minutes of silence, and I really do like the dark, is good for me.
So they say that's like practicing mindfulness. That's a form of mindfulness, actually. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. For me, I'm a yogi. So if I can just get a couple yoga stretches in, or even like qigong will settle me down. It can start my day or it can settle my day down. And then just on the topic of meditation, Insights Timer is a great app. And there's a bunch of meditations on that app that if I just need to kind of wind down my day, I listen to that. And sometimes they have sleep stories on there. So I use that app a lot.
Okay. Tell us the name of that again, because I think I'm gonna download that.
Yeah, it's called Insights Timer.
Okay. Yes.
Insights Timer. And Christina, we are posting it today, June 11th. We're doing our J4G member. Lori Porter is a yoga teacher. She's a yoga specialist. So we're going to be doing a yoga class followed by a nutrition class, because she's also a nutritionalist. So
Ooh,
excited.
Yes. Very excited about that.
I'm looking forward to that too.
Yes.
I can always use, nutritional tips. Yep. I think when I want a quick break, I listen to an audiobook, and it's, I have the self-help audiobooks, but I have some are just fiction novels that, like you said, you don't really have to think about it, you just sit and enjoy. And I will listen to one of those, and it definitely recharges me. I can take a step away, escape sort of into the fiction, and just for a couple of chapters and come back, and I definitely have more patience to deal with things. Oh my God. So I hope that we have, inspired you to, if you don't already do it, to engage in some type of self-care, and deliberately. And I think, and I suffer from this too, sometimes in our title of our show, Self-Care is Not Selfish. That's because I think just from the name, by using self-care, it looks like we are taking away something, from someone else, something that we should be doing. But that is not the case. Have you found that, ladies? It's totally not the case. You actually can do more and are more effective when you are deliberately putting yourself first.
It's just like they say on the airplane, you have to put your oxygen mask on first before you put someone else's, because if your light is depleted, you are no good for anyone else. Or you think about, the medical issues that actually Kim, Christina, and I all had. If we would have died, we can't help nobody.
Not a soul.
Not a soul, right?
That is true.
And I laughed because I thought about something else that I do, because I had a really hard time saying no to things. And so saying no to things really a good break in my day. I try to look for the no's, because I say yes so much that I'm like, where can I say no? Oh, right here. I said no, I'm not going to do it.
Very good point.
And it feels really good. No to something that's not, it may not benefit me. And I have to weigh those things. Like, am I saying yes just because I'm that giving person? Because Michelle knows I say yes to a lot.
Every committee, lead every charge.
I give a lot. And so saying no is a big deal for me. So say no sometimes. Learn that word.
And you have to learn that no is a complete sentence. You know,
Yes,
we want to say
right.
no, and we want to give them every reason in the sun why we can't do it. No,
Just no,
no,
No.
never,
that's a big
nunca.
sentence.
Yeah. There is a great book called The Beautiful No by Sherry Salata. Sherry Salata used to be an executive producer with Oprah.
Oh,
And it just really talks about if you struggle with no, how to get there and how it can be super beautiful. And the other thing as it relates to is self-care not being selfish. A couple of years ago, I went through this process where I kind of changed my whole diet, the way I eat. I'm kind of like a pescatarian now. So me changing my diet changed the diet of my whole household. And the message that I kept getting through that process, the person who led this was your body, you are responsible for your body. And it is the best gift that you could ever have. And so why wouldn't you take the best care of it? So that you can, continue to live a life free of ailments, free of stress. Like you have to continually pour into your body and take care of it and maintain it. So the self-care is not just, like we said, the facials or the manicures or the trips. It is you're taking care of a temple that you have, that you will occupy for the rest of your life, that has gone through all these different stages, and you are responsible. So I would, definitely prioritize that care every single day, even if it's 5 minutes of meditation. They say 5 minutes of breathing can change the game for you. If you're getting angry, anger is a low vibration energy. So you want to get to a higher vibration so you can continue to, live your health as your wealth. So
Yeah.
that is a great point.
It is.
I love it. I would also challenge everybody to incorporate this now, because I do think this is a generational shift. Like if you look at some of our parents, they were like, you got to take care of your family. Why are you worried about yourself? Like that, you got to take care of you. You just need to, if he won't give you, what was this quote? He won't give you none he
More
can't
you can handle.
Yeah.
That's
So,
true.
just
Yeah.
go and go until sometimes you were broken. If you look at I look at, a lot of older people, and you'll see the woman broke down, the woman is got medical issues, and the man golfing and having fun.
Right.
Looks
He got the 30-something-year-old on his arm, right?
So, change that course. If you're not doing it for yourself, do it for your kids. Change it so that your children aren't in that same, that vicious cycle of just burning it at both ends and falling apart and all the things that we do. I mean, I look at sometimes I'm like, okay, my 14-year-old take it a little far when she's in her room with face mask. And I'm like, you had a hard day. Okay.
I was using some of her techniques last night. Let her know.
Yeah,
let her know that I have purchased my dry brushing kit, and
she's got the jade thing. She's taking self-care to a whole nother level, but I'm glad to see that, because it took me to be how old, and I'm not gonna say my age on this camera, how old, and
we all
in a medical crisis.
Yeah.
It was so true.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where it was like a martyr. So it was, we were praised for doing everything, right? And so
a strong Black woman,
right? And so for the ones that were taking self-care, let's say, or taking breaks or had boundaries, they were looked upon as maybe lazy or not as ambitious and that sort of thing. And that is, and it was not true. It was a lie. And I know there's some things, right? It's a bigger discussion. There's some things that we had to do, but if I had incorporated self-care a little bit earlier, I remember at one point I had anxiety breakdown, an attack at work. I had to go to the doctor. Ended up not having coffee for 3 months, and all he just said, he was like, Robin, like, you're stressed out, like it's all on your shoulders. I know you have things going on. He was like, I would stay away from the caffeine, because what I had begun to do is just working long hours, wanted to be available for my kids. So I would drink, you remember those double shots in the can? You guys remember?
I remember that.
I would have 2 or 3 of those by the
That's
time.
like a 5-hour energy now.
By the time I got home at night, because then I wanted to write, like I could even do the math homework, quite honestly, but I wanted to be up and available for the kids and all of that sort of thing. And nobody was saying, oh, Robin, you need a break, right? Nobody was saying, let me help you with that. So none of that was happening. I was doing that. And I was like, man, I wish, right then I'm looking at, my mama going, so why you ain't say something? You see me? You see me over here struggling, like help me out, or that sort of thing. So just knowing that it's a just like you schedule everything else in, it's got to be a part of that. And start to
Absolutely.
build that habit. What they say every 30 days you do it for 30 days straight, you start to build a habit. Build in those 15 minutes, those 20 minutes here and there. Built in, because I watched Dance with Me as a movie. Love that movie. It is so much fun, and I wish I had Vanessa Williams' legs, right? So I love it.
I
So I
know.
was like, man, I'm going to start watching these fun movies a little bit more.
Yeah.
The 90-minute movies, that sort of thing, on a Tuesday night when I really think I should be doing laundry or making sure the living room looks like I want it to look. It did not hurt to watch the movie. It was pretty great. I had a great
Absolutely.
time. I actually ate some chocolate chip cookies as I watched. And so it was fabulous, right? So I wish, just like you said, Angela, I wish I had known it sooner. And I think my example at this point, my daughter thinks I'm having so much more fun than her. She sees it as more, it looks like I'm having fun and that I'm social and that I'm active and all of that sort of stuff. But it just shows that hopefully she's picking up on that.
Yeah.
To say, man, you can still work and you can still hang out with your girlfriends and you don't have to be under your husband all the time, right? Like those sorts of things that I am hoping that she's picking up on as she
And they are.
watches
They
me.
see it.
And also, she comments also on the ladies that I'm with, right? You seem to be around a lot of good women, Mom. I listened. It sounded really good. Or she'll see me laughing at a chat or something like that, or showing her pictures from something that we've done. And she was like, man, that seems fun, right?
I
So
love that.
right? Like they pay attention,
too.
but they don't always say, right? So
Right.
hopefully she's picking up on that and not from a 20 something to the age that I am now, right? That hopefully she sees that she can incorporate that a little bit sooner as well.
Well,
Yeah.
Michelle's 9-year-old daughter asked to come to Just for Girlfriends events all the time.
Yeah.
She said she's a member.
Yeah, she is.
I said, are kids allowed? I said, no, it's only for members. I'm a member. I'm
Love
just
her.
friends.
She is member adjacent.
Yeah, she can't understand. I'm like, no, this is only for the adult members. There. I mean,
I want to.
Yeah, I mean, my
I
daughter
need
has asked
self-care,
that.
honey.
She has asked for. She has asked for. Is there like? Do you guys have 20 somethings in there? That was her question, and I was like, you can text Angelique yourself, and you can ask Angelique about that, right? Because I'm not fooling with you like that. But let's see. You know,
You were going to say something?
No, it's, one of the things I wanted to say too is that this is a quote, and you can say it came from me because I say it all the time. You are your own solution. You can sit around and wait for others to figure it out for you, or you can get up and do it. And you said something earlier like, God is going to help you. God is going, but God is a God of action. And you have to put forth the energy to make anything change. So whenever you think you can't do it, say, I'm my own solution. You know, you have the answer. And you can do it. And through prayer, which is action, you know, you can get yourself through things, but we have to know that we're resourceful and we can't sit around and wait for people to figure it out for us.
Or just wait for it just to happen. Just sit
just
there.
To happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I want to, before we go, I want to switch gears. We had someone reach out to us to ask us a question. They need help. Okay. So let's put up this ask real talk with Just for Girlfriends a question. I hope our producer is listening.
Yes. If not, we can read. There it is.
Okay, so I'm gonna read this. It says, "Dear J for G, I am a single mother of 2 young kids. I am a chef by training, and after training in a busy restaurant, I left to start my own. Things are going well business-wise until the pandemic hit. A lot of people can relate to that. Had to close my restaurant, and now I've been preparing meal prep kits that people order online. I am blessed to make a good living, but I'm even busier at work and busy trying to stay on top of the kids' schoolwork and after-school activities. I also provide for my mother who is unable to work. I know that self-care is important, but I don't have the time or energy to pamper myself. It's become a source of stress to see it on my to-do list and never have time to get to it. Help." So what advice can we give her? Sounds like she has a lot going on, and I have been there. So who wants to go first?
Stop overthinking. And think about it. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So it's
Mm.
5 minutes here, 2 minutes there. Start with the breathing, work yourself up to it. So when it gets to be unwieldy, then you're not caring for yourself and you've just added another stressor to your list. So start small.
Great. That's
Start
great
small.
advice. And that's what it sounds
Mhm.
like she's doing when she calls it pampering herself. We're not talking about, taking a day off. It's like you said, start small. I love that advice.
And
I love that.
sometimes you have to, in work, we think about the things at work, our company says, well, we don't want to do that no more. So we're going to outsource it. And sometimes you have to outsource. What things
Mm.
can you pay for? If you make a good living, what things can I take off my plate? Can I get somebody who can pick up? Can I get somebody to sit with my mom so I can have a day? So you have to
Mhm.
start to plan things and activities around
Yeah.
some time for yourself. You can't do it all, you
Yeah.
know.
That is great advice also. And reading this, it sounds like, and I don't know this for a fact, but I knew it can be the case that maybe she sees her value in being the one to solve all these problems.
Can't do it all.
And
Mhm.
no,
Can't
she's
do it
not going to
all.
be around. Right. So that's
Yeah.
a great advice. Start small and then outsource.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the other thing I would say, because we don't do a lot of it, and I think it's we're getting better at it. We don't ask for help, right?
Mhm.
And so you got a friend, you got friends, you have family, you have a neighbor that might be better at schoolwork than you are, right? Like a tutor, something like that. Ask for help. You would be surprised how many people will say yes to you, or will have some resources or some other ways to help you out. Be okay asking. It doesn't reflect poorly on you to ask for help. Ask for
Not
help.
at all.
And we
Not
just
at
talked about engaging your kids and engaging your children. So
Yeah.
create activities where you can take care of yourself and teach them self-care where you all can do it together as a
Yeah.
I
family.
love that.
So
Yeah, that's a good one. And there's a line in here that specifically reminds me of the beginning of the year. We had a virtual event where we had a speaker on who talked about being your best self for this year. And her story, she specifically said this because in this request here it says, "I don't have time for self care," and that speaker said, if you either make time for your body or your body will force you to have the time, because
Whoa.
she was telling the story as she was at stroke level blood pressure. So it was
Mm.
either you make the time or your body will force you to have the time. And do you want to be, do you want to be forced to be in the hospital? And because when you have those medical emergencies,
Mm.
everything stops.
everything.
So if
Yeah.
you have that medical emergency, you're not taking care of your mom, you're not taking care of the schoolwork, you're not taking care of your business, your body will force you to stop. And so do these things, whatever those little small pieces are, whether it's the breathing, whether it's the, take it one day at a time, do it together so that your body doesn't force you to take the time.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much because yeah, if you continue to just run, run, and run without taking the time, you're going to be sitting down. Then that's stress. I mean, can you imagine not being able to do any of the things? I agree. Oh my gosh. So I know who I'm going to call when I have an issue. Those responses were right on point. I'm
We
sure
take
she'll,
better
and this
care of
will be
our
taped. So I'm sure she'll be able to come back and revisit this. But it is a mindset. And I had to go through this, myself. It's not pampering, it's not an extra or a luxury. It's something that you have to build into your schedule every day. And one thing that I use, and it's been really helpful for me, is that Microsoft has a new feature. Every day it'll send me things and it calls my emails. So everything that I may have said that I was going to do, it'll bring that up and it'll say schedule time for yourself. And you go ahead and you enter that in, and it'll make it seem like, people that can access your calendar will look like you're doing something else. So I block out every day 30 minutes during the work day. And then I may, like I said, may do my audiobook, it may be going for the walk, and it may just be doing nothing. It may just be laying down, just taking a deep breath. But I will not, it's on my schedule, and I tend to follow it more than if I just say I'm going to get to this. It might not happen. You know how that does. Your day can fill up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So we have probably another few minutes before we have to go. And I think that, I like to go around if there's, one bit of advice that you want someone to take away from this show. I like for you to share it because, I mean, we're out here saving lives.
Absolutely.
So, Robin, we'll do the round robin. Robin, you start. What is one thing you'd like someone to take away from our discussion today?
I will say that self-care is essential, true, but you have to start. Pick a day to start, and there's no better day than today. And if it's one thing, just pick it and say, I'm going to do it, and you can add on from there. But you have to take some action to it, and I promise you will feel much better for it.
Absolutely. Angelique?
I would say just sit down, take out a piece of paper, and write down the things that you enjoy. Get back to your basics. Remember what you enjoy doing, what brings you peace, and start looking at that list and figuring out how you can carve time in to incorporate those things back into your life. Because that's really how J4G started for me. What I enjoyed was time with friends, time with girlfriends, where I didn't have to be a lawyer, a mom, a husband, a wife. I didn't have to be a dog mom. I didn't have to be anything. When I'm with my girlfriends, I can just be Angelique. So just sit down, think about that, and incorporate that back into your life when you were 20 and you had no responsibilities and life really was not that stressful. And then, of course, I'm going to say, join J4G. We have a ball. We're gonna help you. We will help you through this, and you will have this mighty sisterhood.
I love it. Kim?
I kind of got two things, but one is I think about a car all the time. We take better care of a car than we do our body. And so just think about it. You have to put in the right fuel. You have to have oil. You have to run it. You have to do things to keep that car intact. But the other thing I want to say is that every moment is a new moment. So you have the opportunity to change at the very next second. So you don't have to live your life in your past. Keep looking forward and know that you can change at any time. Today is the day.
I love
Let's
that.
today.
Yeah.
Love it.
Right. Yeah. Christina?
I would also say you are your best thing. So embody that, like live it. And then from a famous ad campaign years ago, you're worth it. So, every day you are worth it, and you are worth it just being you, just being here. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to work anywhere. Like you are worth it. So
Great. And I will just reiterate the title of our show. Self-care is not selfish. Change your mindset. Self-care, as Robin said, is essential. Do something for yourself. You'll be surprised at how much more you're able to do when you take care of yourself first. So, I mean, this was some great advice. I hope that you have learned something, and we appreciate you being here. And thank you to Black Doctor for putting on this Women's Health Summit. I mean, it's a whole day full of information and tools that you can use. It's going to be recorded, so you can come back. I know we have shared quite a few things with you. And, like Angelique said, we can make it easy for you. Join Just for Girlfriends. You'll have it built in. You'll have it built in. Our website is scrolling along the bottom.
And ladies, you don't want to be, like we said, where we're all old and broke down and the man on your shoulder looking young and looking for a younger woman.
They do that, right?
Yes,
they do that. They trade us in, because we have worked ourselves.
She said trade us in.
Gonna wore us out.
Let him be worried.
Right.
Very worried. Yeah, right. Very worried. Oh my gosh, ladies, has been a pleasure as always. I love chopping it up with you. It's food to the soul. Go ahead.
Before we get out of here, I want to let everybody know our next two J4G events.
Please, yes.
Yeah. So if you are in the Chicagoland area, we are, like we just said, we are going to do a day of yoga and then a nutrition class to really talk about what to put, really just like the car, what to feed our body, how to make sure that we're staying good. And if you're in the DMV area in June, we are, okay, this is a little different. We're going to do a rum tasting. So we're doing a rum, look, Kim's coming to DC, right? We are going to Cotton and Reed Distillery, and they're going to give us a private tour, and then we're going to do rum tasting, and who knows what the night will bring after tastings of lots of rum.
Yep, that's a good start to a very fun evening, it sounds like. Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Join us.
Are non-members welcome to either or of those events?
Non-members will be welcome to both events.
Okay.
And then we will also be having a virtual event, because we always have virtual events. We just have not set that event or date yet, but we will put that out. If you go to our website, justforgirlfriends.com, you can find that, or follow us on social media, Facebook, IG. We're on all of the social medias. We post things out. You can also get on our email list. So if you go to the website, you join the email list, and you'll get emails of all of our events, activities, challenges, things that are new. We spotlight our members because we want to celebrate each other. Again, going back to our mighty sisterhood.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.